What's up, comforts of courses? My name is Till, and in this video I'm going to talk about why trying to control your emotions, trying to eliminate negative feelings is probably not a very good idea, and what you should rather do instead. Now, most of the time when I get a new client, most of the time they have one or two agendas. The one agenda is trying to control their emotions, and the other agenda is most of the time trying to eliminate negative feelings or uncomfortable feelings like anxiety or nervousness. And there are two big reasons why this is a terrible idea. And a lot of people try to do this, but it's not a very good idea, and it's a dead end in the end. And there are two reasons why this is a bad idea. The first reason is most of the time when you try to do this, yes, it works short term, try to eliminate your negative emotions, but this always will backfire, and the rebound effect is always stronger, and all those emotions will always come back. And there's no sustainable long-term technique or long-term method or long-term approach how you can get rid of negative feelings, or how you can control your feelings long-term. And yes, short-term, there are fantastic short-term techniques how you can control your emotions. One of the most famous techniques is, if you're at a bar and it's a social situation, you feel kind of anxious, nervous, there's a fantastic short-term technique how you can get rid of the anxiety. And this is just having a couple of drinks. But as we all know, obviously, this works on day one. But if you do this for half a year, you will have to drink so many drinks that you start to get fucking drunk. And then, obviously, all this will backfire. And in the end, will leave you more vulnerable and with more problems than you actually started with. So, trying to eliminate or control emotions just does not really work sustainable and in the long term. And the second part is, trying to get rid of negative feelings does not make your life better. All that it does is it makes your life less miserable, but it doesn't make you happier. And a lot of people think it would make them happier because a lot of people have a scale in their mind for happiness, and this scale looks like this. They think on the one side, here is having a lot of problems, and the other side of the scale is being happy. And they think if I just get rid of my negative feelings, step by step I will become happy. However, in reality, the scale rather looks like this. Here's the problem scale, and here's the happiness scale. And you can have as many problems or a few problems as you want. It does not really matter so much on your happiness. So I know a ton of people, and there are actually some studies on this as well, and I'm going to quote them in the comments if you want to. You can have a lot of problems and at the same time be very happy. And there are also a ton of people that have no problems really. They have all the money in the world, and they have all the things they want, and at the same time they're not really happy. So what should you do instead? And most of the time what I do with my clients is I sit them down and then I ask them, hey, if you wouldn't have this anxiety, if you wouldn't be nervous, what would your life be about? What would you do in your life? And then they start saying things like, oh, I would go to a party, I would be willing to engage in intimate and vulnerable relationships with other people. I would start making friends and all those kind of things that they were anxious of doing before. And then the next step what we do is we work on this and we try to find out ways how they can do all those things while experience the anxiety and the nervousness. So instead of trying to get rid of the anxiety, instead of trying to get rid of the negative feelings, we look for the things that they really value in their life, that they care about in their life, and then look for ways how can we accommodate both, how they can have the anxiety and still do all those things that add meaning to their life. So instead of trying to solve all their problems at first and then look for happiness, instead what we do is we, just stick with the problems for a while, especially those problems that are hard to change, like negative emotions or negative feelings, and instead look, how can we add more meaning and more happiness to their life by doing those things that they care about. And the thing I would like to ask from you is, take a step back and then figure out in your own life, if you wouldn't have your anxiety, if you wouldn't have your nervousness, what would your life be about? What would you do in your life if you wouldn't have this anxiety? And then maybe just over the next week, just like a little experiment, over the next week, figure out one or two things that if you wouldn't be anxious, wouldn't be nervous, what are two things you would do? And then commit yourself to doing those things while still being anxious. And just as an experiment, just for 1 week, just see how it works, and then you still can go back to your agenda of trying to control your emotions, trying to get rid of your emotions. Just for 1 week, as an experiment, pick one or two things that you would usually don't do because you're anxious or nervous or scared. Commit yourself to doing those things and then do them while being anxious, and just instead of controlling this anxiety, opening up to this anxiety, to this nervousness, and doing those things while experiencing this anxiety at the same time. And that's it. So I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about this, and yeah, just leave a comment below and tell me what you think about this, and how this could work in your life, or what you would do if you wouldn't be anxious and scared. And yeah, And that's it. So that was another video from my porch here in Chicago, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video, and